It was at the beginning of the week, and I was on my way to work when I was listening to NPR, and they had run a very quick story about there being a spill.
Now it was the people of Michigan. The Kalamazoo River was in an instant transformed into a sea of oil. A 30-inch pipeline, a big 2.5-foot wide pipeline that ran beneath the surrounding wetlands, ruptured out of nowhere. It sent oil rushing into the Kalamazoo River. It sent entire Michigan communities into a state of emergency.
I remember pulling up in my car and being taken aback by the number of people that were here. And I walk in and I start to see people that I recognize and people that I grew up with. At that point it started to hit me that this happened in my hometown, this happened to people that I care about, and it became a lot more personal and scary.
And at every point the people we turned to, and Beth turned to, thinking this is a logical person that would step in and help, be responsible, take charge. Nobody wanted to. This was like, it's not really our job, you know. This is a state issue, this is a federal issue, this is a county issue. No, it was a humanity issue. It was a wildlife issue. But nobody wanted to touch it.
This event is part of a larger national event called We Are the Kalamazoo. Throughout the next few weeks, over a dozen similar solidarity events will happen around the country to call attention to at-risk communities along networks of existing and proposed tar sands pipeline routes.
It had taken over the entire river, and you could see it in the shorelines. And at the first place that we had stopped to scope out an area to release this report, you know, it still hadn't hit us how bad the situation was. We could smell it. We could almost feel the chemicals in our lungs when we were breathing, but then we saw a muskrat on the shoreline of the Kalamazoo River trying to clean itself of oil, and I think that's really when it hit us how bad the situation was.
So then it became really important for groups like National Wildlife to come in and try to sort through all this and hold people accountable, because we didn't even know where to begin. But she was able, through National Wildlife, to actually step in and say, we're watching you.
That there's still a lot of work to be done, even 2 years later, and having the management and the support from the Great Lakes Regional Center, we're able to take it beyond just responding to the spill. We're now dealing with pipeline safety issues in the state and protecting the Great Lakes.
She spent most of her youth outdoors, actually. We live on a farm not too far from where the Enbridge pipeline runs, actually, and 40 acres and woods and a pond, and she spent a lot of time fishing down at the pond with her grandfather when she was young.
You know, we're already facing all these things that we can't do. I can't go fish, and I can't eat the fish because of mercury levels, because of now oil poisoning. So I think about how Regan will probably have even more obstacles or even more restrictions on the things that he can do. And so it drives me to a point where hopefully I can make this difference and prevent a spill from happening in the Great Lakes, or even in a watershed like the Kalamazoo River watershed, so that he can enjoy those areas just like I was able to as a child.